Carolina on the ride. Carolina on the ride.
What's going on, Panther Nation? Bill Mack here with another edition of the Panther Prowl. Glad you folks could join me today. Panther Nation, the game just got over just a few minutes ago. I was trying to get everything set up today, folks. And, of course, we are in the Week 6 review as the Carolina Panthers were home to host the Chicago Bears, as I stated in the preview show, in the preview video. Wow, what a game it was. A defensive battle, no doubt. Of course, if you know anything, you know what the score is. Of course, the final score was 23-16. It was, all I will say is defense and Chicago Bears. They were all over pressure and Teddy. Teddy was not able to get a pass into the end zone all game. He wasn't able to go deep, if any, very, very limited opportunities, as the defense was basically hounding him the whole day. He was forced to just dunk off passes. He did get a few passes deep, not too deep, though, because the defense just kept rushing at him. I mean, they got 4 sacks. They had 2 sacks in the first first half, and they didn't get any at all let up last week when they played. So knew this was the kind of game, just what I called. The very things I said in my preview video, the names I called were names that were definitely going to be in this video. The ones I'd mentioned, who to look out for and who to watch out for in this upcoming game. The keys, what the Panthers needed to do in order to get the win, were the very things they couldn't do. 4 sacks by Teddy, just constant pressures all day long. It was a defensive game. It's not to say the Panthers didn't do well with defense. They got their own takeaways as well, not that many, and they weren't really pressuring Foles at all. They got no sacks. They got 1 interception. That was basically it for them. I'll run the stats by you real quick here and give you a little play-by-play of what happened, just in case you missed it, or a little recap here. Of course, the Panthers get the ball first. Teddy throws an interception on opening drive. The Bears end up going down, and Komet, the tight end, caught a touchdown, 9 yards. It gave them a 7-0 start. The Panthers end up getting 3 on their second drive, which was a 20-yarder by Sly, of course. That was capped off with Moore with a couple of catches for 34 yards. Bridgewater had a couple runs for 17 yards. Bears next drive up, they get a field goal on their next drive. Of course, Montgomery started being able to run the ball some. He become very effective, and that's a problem the Panthers have had to worry against this whole season, is their rush defense, of course. They end up getting the field goal ends up making it 10-3. So then the Panthers end up getting another field goal on their second consecutive field goal, which was a 21-yarder. So they were getting down, but they weren't being able. That Chicago defense was tightening up. They're one of the top leaders in red zone touchdown percentage allowed. So very high up there. They weren't going to, they're very efficient when it comes to red zone touchdown defense, which means chances are they're going to go ahead and try to basically shut teams down, either holding the field goals or no points. The Panthers were right at 50% on red zone touchdown percentage, which puts them about 27th overall in the NFL. Very, very low, with their touchdown percentage in the red zone. So not very efficient when it comes to that. The Bears end up going down and driving down under 2 minutes, and they end up getting a 55-yard field goal, which makes it 13-6 at the half. At the halftime, Teddy was 5 of 12. He only had 60 yards, 1 interception. He had 2 sacks in the first half. Davis was only 10 of 39. Moore had 4 catches for 55 yards. So they were stopping the run, shutting the run down, and they were basically getting pressure. Everything the defense needed to do was basically happening. And, of course, Khalil Mack and Bilal Nichols each had a sack. Those were it. Teddy ends up, Teddy ends up throwing the interception, and basically it was just that defense was there altogether. And for the Panthers, Shaq Thompson, of course, at half, he had 5 tackles. Derrick Brown had 2 tackles and 1 tackle for a loss. And total yards was very low. Like I said, it was a defensive game back and forth. It wasn't like Chicago was able to blow away, because that touchdown, remember, that come off the interception, so it wasn't very many yards they had to go. So the total yardage at halftime was like 134 to 125 at half in favor of the Panthers. So edging that out. So then we go to the second half, and Chicago gets 3 and out on their drive, because, of course, they got the ball first, which was a good sign. It's kind of calm things down, try to get back, get a fresh start. And then here's where the funny thing happens. You have Davis fumbles on the opening drive, okay? The very next play that Chicago gets, Jeremy Shinn comes in and gets an interception, which is great, because then we turn the ball back, get the ball back. But then when we get down there, Sly, of course, misses a 55-yard field goal after that. So all that excitement, all that chance to do something, they end up getting no points at all for that, all for none. So then the next drive we have that the Chicago Bears they score on is a 1-yard QB sneak touchdown by Foles, and Foles was efficient on that drive. He was 4 of 4 for 34 yards, and by them scoring that first down, or that touchdown in the third quarter, was the first points out of all 4 games or 5 games up to this point. Chicago hadn't scored any points in the third quarter at all. So this was the first points they had scored. So we gave that up, and I was like, oh man, we got to try to bounce back here and try to keep it close. And so then Mike Davis, of course, get on the Panthers scoring drive. He gets a 1-yard TD. Now that's capped off by 3 penalties that Chicago Bears committed. They hit a 33-yard pass interference call, which was good. That set us in motion right near the 1-yard line to get that touchdown. But also they had back-to-back too many men on the field penalties. So penalties was also another thing that plagued the Panthers throughout it. So by that touchdown, it knocked it down just a 7-point game. It was 20-13 in the third quarter. So, or going into the fourth quarter, it was like the first opening minute or so, the fourth quarter. So by that touchdown, it gave Davis 4 straight games with a rushing touchdown, which is great. Unfortunately, however, the injury bug hit again, and Justin Burroughs they announced that he was out of the game. I saw where he went to make a tackle, and he got hurt. He was out of the game with a rib injury. Don't know if he's coming back. Didn't come back the rest of the game. Don't know how severe that is just yet. So then the next few drives, the Panthers and Chicago trade field goals. And then it comes right down to the end on the fourth down play for Carolina. They failed to get the first down with 1:55 to go, and it was so close because it was a deep pass. Moore had been reliable all day, just could not come down with it. Had it in his hand, just could not bring it down. So he ended up going down. So then, when you think all hope is lost, the Panthers end up using their touchdown, their timeouts wisely, and they end up. But on that drive, Teddy ends up throwing an interception and it ends up with 1:28 to go, and then that's all the game, folks. Then Chicago just kneels on it and takes it out. So it was a defensive game altogether. So the final score for the Panthers, of course, like I said, was 23-16. Not a very the Chicago, like 4 of their wins or all their games have mostly been by less than a score. A very close game here. The Panthers fought valiantly, but Teddy just couldn't get set. You see, Okung had Okung, I guess his name, Okung. He had trouble with Mack on his side. I mean, they just did not have an answer for him. I mean, pressure. Teddy wasn't able to do his normal thing, which is what's going to be the case if you don't get that offensive line. I mean, this was, of course, the Panthers, the biggest defensive they've scored or they've played against with the season yet to come. But of course, that's to be expected. Which Chicago is playing that role where the old Baltimore teams did win with defense, score a little bit. That's what's going to win the game, and that's what's been winning them as well here. And like I said, the Chicago defense, of course, had 4 sacks and 3 takeaways, which were very vital to that. So the ending results for the Panthers and their defenses. Teddy had finished out 16-29, 216 yards, 2 interceptions, had 4 sacks on him. Davis had 18 carries, 52 yards, the rushing touchdown there in the early part of the fourth quarter. And Robbie Anderson had 4 catches, 77 yards. DJ Moore had 5 catches, 93 yards. So, even though they had good stats, it just weren't able to come down. The Bears clamped down on them. Looking at the other side, the Bears, you had Foles had 23 of 39, had 198 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Of course, that quarterback sneak, that was a touchdown as well. He had no sacks, so they didn't get Panthers were not able to get the pressure to him like we were hoping that what they wanted the keys they needed to do. Montgomery, of course, rushed 19 carries, 58 yards. Wide receivers, Allen Robinson, which I told you about they needed to watch, 5 catches, 53, and of course, Kmet had that catch in the touchdown at the very beginning of the game. So, like I said, it wasn't a whole lot of offense scored. A lot of field goals, defense, but that defense of Chicago just blanketed Teddy the whole game. Defensive wise, of course, Roquan Smith had 12 tackles. That was one of the names I told you. Khalil Mack and Bilal Nichols each had a sack. Gibson and Houston Carlson each, their backs had 1 interception each. And of course, the Santos basically was 3 for 3 in field goals. Sly was 3 for 4 in field goals. Both of them, Santos nailed the extra points as well. So onward to New Orleans next. That's going to be our test. A division game. Hopefully the Panthers can recover. They're still young. I'm okay with this because I knew how tough it was going to be going against that defense, Panther Nation. While it's a sad day we lost, it's still, we still hung in there. Didn't let it get too much out of control, but it just shores up when you go against a top defense like Chicago's. Things like that can happen, and that's what I stated in the review and the preview video from my last one. So, like I said, up next we go to New Orleans to play the Saints. We'll see how that goes. Maybe we can stop the bleeding a little bit with that, and hopefully get back and put us over 500. The Panthers, of course, dropped 3-3 over the course of the game. So, hope you like this video, Panther Nation. I'll try to get it out there to you as soon as I can. And like I said, it's basically just a point of us getting and being able to regroup, go back to New Orleans, try to get some pressure, learn from the mistakes, and continue to get better. So, of course, this is, if you'd like, before I end this video, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, add comment to the video if you want. Any questions, I'll definitely get back to you. And until the next video, Panther Nation, this is Bill Mack for the Panther Prowl saying, keep pounding.